Okay guys, I'm going to go over some shimming techniques with you. We all know that there's a lot of these spool pins, and when we refer to spool pins, you can see the difference here. Take a photo of that. You can see the difference here where this one it's shaped like a barrel or a spool of thread, okay? And it's got this catch in between here, whereas this pin doesn't. So the combination of having this pin here with that spool in it, it's designed to catch and hook on the edges. So as you're trying to pick it, it's specifically designed to catch on these edges where your shear line is. So this does two things. It makes it a lot more difficult to pick. So when you're picking, we're going to go over regular picking and we're going to go over shim picking as well as to how these systems work. So if you are shimming or picking a Schlage lock, at least the newer ones and a lot of the older ones too, I pretty much always just bank on a Schlage lock having some kind of spool pin system in it. Now this one's kind of custom set up for demonstration purposes. This is an ASA pin over here. It's got two different spools on it, and then it's got regular spools and then regular pins and regular spool here. So we've got spool, regular pin, spool, ASA spool right here. But I'm just going to be giving you a close-up view and photo of exactly how these things work and what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so you can see with shim picking, you're basically using a key blank to come in and push the pins all the way up, and then you're bringing the shim in like so. Click. And then as you come down, see that? Like that, the shim will slide in between it. And then you come back, and then it'll go through the next one. And then you come down, and it goes through the next one. And it traps those pins and holds them as you go through the lock. And it traps it and it holds it, and then when you get to the final one, click, the lock is picked, you turn the cylinder over, you remove the shim, and then you can go ahead and do whatever it is you need to do to the lock to do so. But what happens is you'll notice on this shim here, see how that side has a little mark in it? It's got like a little bend. And what happens is when you're shim picking on the downstroke or on the upstroke, see how it shoves the pin up? You're pushing that lip and trapping this shim and then pushing up on it, and it crunches the shim. It won't allow it to pass, but it crunches the shim, and then it makes it that much more difficult to shim the rest of the lock, because now you do not have a smooth surface trying to go through there. You've got a crimped surface. So you can fix that with a flat blade screwdriver. You can take it on your workbench and work that out. I just throw the shim away and just make sure I have plenty of shims. So here's the process, and you can look and see how this works here. Okay, let's see. All right, really difficult to hold this all on camera and do this. But the main idea is to make sure that you only shim on the downstroke. So you want to make sure the key is all the way in before you start shimming. Okay? And that way you're shimming on the downstroke where there is no serration. So you shim, shim, shim. Shim, shim, shim. Come on. And that little wiggle back and forth helps the pin move. And then, oops, see, it's kind of got it trapped. There. Okay, did we get it? Boy, this is difficult to do on camera. Maybe. Because I don't have the full dexterity of my hands. Okay, so that did not work. So you want to pull the shim back and reset. And then we're going to come in again. You see, with too much pressure, you actually hold the pin in place. So let me show you how that works. Okay, I've got too much pressure, and I pull the key out and see how it stayed up there for a minute. Too much pressure. See how the other pins are dropping and the first one is not? That's because I've got too much pressure on the shim. You need to have just enough pressure and the little wiggling back and forth. I'm just going to have to do it like this because I can't get the right grip on it. So I do this. See how as soon as I change my grip, it gets better. And there's the shim coming through. First one. Okay. That little twist and pull. I'm just using my fingers like a pinch and a little shake and a pull. And you can see how it just glides. You can see how it just glides right through the lock. Here's the next one. And shim. Beautiful. Shim, shim. Okay, so you can see how the shim comes all the way through, and now the lock is picked. It's turned over, and it's completely picked. Okay? So then you can remove your shim from the equation, and we can see how it comes out. Right there. Click, 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 click. Voila. Just like so. So that's how you can shim pick your lock, and that is how you shim pick through spool pins. Alrighty? So the pins are following the angle of the key down. You're using the angle of the key to move them up and down. But that is, and then you just work that all the way through. So if you don't feel that your pin shimmed, if you don't feel it click, move forward, you need to back the shim off so that it doesn't get caught in the groove, and then start again. Press the key forward and only shim on the down stroke. You want to have the pin all the way up and only shim on the down stroke.